Hi everyone, as you may know, I've been in Suffolk over the past couple of weeks and I got back about a day and a half ago. I got back the other evening and I looked at my Lightfast tests yesterday and I was quite interested to see how they'd changed. We've had a lot of sunshine. We're getting into June now, so obviously the weather is getting better. The days are really long and it's been really quite sunny here in Surrey while I've been away. So I'm going to show you just a little update on how these Lightfast tests are looking. I know this isn't long enough at the moment. They've been on the windowsill for about 5 or 6 weeks. And then I added some more and they've been on the windowsill for about a month. I know it isn't long enough to get any definitive results, but I think it's long enough for us to see if there are any minor changes, because I think this is quite interesting as we go through this, to just see how they're changing month by month. So I might be doing little monthly or maybe every couple of months if there's not much change, updates so that you can see how they're coming along. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just testing a few of my watercolours where I was a little bit concerned they might not be Lightfast despite what it said on the packaging. This was due to things I'd heard from other artists and certain pigments that I know are a bit problematic, like PB27, which is what this Prussian Green contains here. I won't waffle any further. Let's just get on with this because this is just a little quick video, a quick update, and then I'll pop it in the Lightfast Tests playlist so that all of these are just in one place. So for any of you who are interested, you can easily look them up. So yeah, Prussian Green was the one that really changed after just a week. As you can see, I've had this on the windowsill since late April. And we're now on the 3rd of June. The left-hand side strips are the ones that were on the windowsill and the right-hand side strips are the ones that are being kept in the dark in a drawer. So if I hold that together, you'll see that I don't think there's been much further fading. After a week, it had lost some of the bluish tone in the one that had been exposed to the light. And I don't really think there's been an awful lot of change there. So it faded quite a lot in the first week and then it hasn't really faded much more. Whether it will as it goes through the summer, I mean, these are going to be on the windowsill for a few more months, so we'll keep checking back on them. But I'm surprised that several weeks on, there hasn't been much more of a change. It had already turned slightly yellowish after just over a week. So yeah, that's what's happening with the Prussian Green. The rhodonite, I'd heard that this one can sometimes, I think, be affected by environmental factors as well as light. But honestly, if I join those together, at the moment, after about 5 or 6 weeks, and there's really quite strong sunlight coming through that window all day. But yeah, I don't think I really see any difference in that. So that's still looking good. One thing I was surprised about actually was, oh, sorry, we're getting a bit muddled here. The Shell Pink by Holbein is not fading at all. It looks brilliant. And P073 is supposedly a bit of a problematic pigment. So we'll see if anything happens to this over the next few months, but I'm really pleased to say that at the moment, after about 5 or 6 weeks, it's looking good. There is one, by the way, that has changed dramatically, and it won't be that much of a surprise when I show you which one it is. But the Mayan dark blue, I honestly can't see any change in that at the moment. I don't know whether you can. I had heard that this one fades. At the moment, it's looking good. I really love this colour. I don't want it to fade. So I'm really hopeful that perhaps it will be okay, especially the way I like to use it, which is in the mass tone or very, very slightly diluted rather than as a wash. I think if I were to do it again, I would make sure I had more of a wash in the bottom section. So if the paint is more diluted, it will fade more quickly when it's exposed to light. But this will be a good little trial just to see if anything happens to these. As you can see, I didn't apply this super thickly, this one, apart from at the top. But the Mayan Blue Genuine at the moment it looks the same. I can't see any difference. So we'll go on to Moonglow, which is known to have fading issues. I was expecting to see a change in this one when I came back from Surrey, but as you can see at the moment, it's looking exactly the same. So that one was the one that was in the window. That one is the one that's in the drawer, and they match up perfectly. So at the moment, it seems okay, but yeah, I think we'll probably see some change in that one. This one, now, this is very, very subtle, and I don't know whether this is going to show up on camera, but this is Sleeping Beauty Turquoise by Daniel Smith, and I can see that it hasn't so much faded on this side as just kind of yellowed a bit, really. So it's very subtle. I don't know whether you can see that, but to my eye, this looks very, very slightly more yellow. When I showed it to Dominic, he could see that too. I like to get a second opinion sometimes because I don't know whether I'm just seeing things. But yeah, he could see that too. So this one, Dusk Pink by Rembrandt, I didn't think this was going to fade, but I did want to just check. I don't know why I haven't written actually on this one the pigment. That was an error on my part, but there's a certain pigment in this that they said on the website handprint to do your own tests on, but it should be okay. And at the moment, as you can see, it looks okay. I'll put which pigment it is on the screen when I edit this. But yeah, at the moment it's looking fine, which is great because I love that colour. So this one is the Winsor & Newton Professional Rose Dorae. This has been on the windowsill since the 6th of May, and as I said, we're on the 3rd of June. This is about a month in quite strong sunlight. Can't see any change there. I mean, I hadn't heard anything bad about this one. I was just curious to see whether it would fade, because I know that often reds and pinks are a bit notorious for fading, although obviously you can get loads of Lightfast versions. This one was rated 2 for Lightfastness. I do tend to try and go for 1s if I can. Sometimes I have a few 2s as well because they are meant to be very good. And at the moment this is looking really great. So let's hope it stays like that. Be interesting to see how that changes in the summer. Jadeite, the Daniel Smith Jadeite, that's been on there the same amount of time. Can't see any difference in that at the moment. The Daniel Smith Amethyst, I've heard certain things about this one. We won't go into the whole Daniel Smith scandal, controversy, drama, whatever you want to call it. I'm just purely testing to see whether these pigments remain Lightfast. At the moment, been on the windowsill about a month, can't see any difference, looks good. Same with the Kyanite, Daniel Smith Kyanite, can't see any difference in that. I'm testing this one because somebody told me they'd had some problems with it. So we will see. Right, this one, I expected this to fade and it has faded really quite dramatically. And it's no surprise because it is a neon pink. So this is one of my handmade paints. This is by Archie's Paints, Wild Pink. This has been on the windowsill for roughly a month, and this is how much it's faded in a month. So it looked like this initially, and now looks like this. You can see that it's totally changed colour. I mean, I expected this to happen. This is not sold as a Lightfast paint, and neon paints are notoriously fugitive. I bought this just for sketchbook work or work that will be scanned and reproduced digitally. So I won't be selling any originals I make with this paint. But look at that, it's amazing how much that has changed in just a month. So we'll see whether this, where there's more of a wash, it's more diluted, we'll see whether that eventually fades totally, because it really is fading quite a lot. Obviously it's retained its colour a little bit more there, but it's a totally different colour. I find it so interesting to see how that's changed. But there we go, that is an update. Sorry about my painty hands, I've been working. That is an update on the Lightfast tests about a month to 6 weeks in, depending on which ones they are. Yeah, so there's not much change so far, and I find it really interesting that the Prussian Green by Daniel Smith doesn't seem to have faded any more than it did in week 1, and obviously the neon is really fading, but the others, there is very, very little change so far. So we'll continue with this and we'll see what they look like in maybe a couple of months or so, but I'll update you if there are any major changes. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with lots of different videos for you. I'm back in the studio in Surrey, and I'm getting back to work, so yeah, thank you and see you soon.